Hello and welcome back to the next episode of Cryptids and Critters. I've lost what episode count it is. That will probably reflect in the video title. Today we're just going over obscure African cryptids that are not going to get their own video. Unlike the Cosix Rex. Unlike... There's another one I forgot that actually is like... Which one did I say we need our own episode on?
Zipodon or did we...
I don't know. Unlike the Cosix Rex and Makili and Bimbe. There's another one I forget, but we'll get to that later. Don't worry. But, yeah. Do you know anything about African cryptids?
Not really.
Alright, because you're in for a wild ride. They're all weird.
Yeah, okay.
Or they're... Alright, so let's just get into it. So we have the 50-foot Congo snake. I'm pretty sure you all have known of the videos of snakes that are supposedly massive. But a lot of it's just a perspective thing, and this is no different. So it was originally filmed... Hold on. Yeah. Attributed to the colossal snake, presumably a python, since anacondas are not seen in Africa. So there's a video saying that it was 195 feet long. That is impossible for a creature on land, to live solely on land, without any structural support that would... The reason sauropods got so big in the first place and were able to survive, because there were ones that did top out near 200 feet long. I don't know which ones, but there are ones that reach that, or near it. If there wasn't, then this is impossible. But like, for one, the animal, not just length, you have to have size and body shape with it. Because as the longer you go, the bigger you get. Occasionally, there are some exceptions to that rule.
Yeah.
So it's this oarfish, which are 50 feet long and are kind of tiny. And a bunch of kind of micro oar. They don't count because they're like chains. But yeah, no, this is just kind of forced perspective. And also, for a snake to be that large and not be aquatic is a death sentence to the snake itself. Because the reason sauropods were able to get so big is because they had support.
Yeah.
This thing doesn't have support. And it says that it lunged at a helicopter. Many animals do that just because they feel threatened, but the helicopter's normally low. This thing ain't gonna lunge at a helicopter. It'd be too big to really move like that. I think they have a picture of a Titanic boat here. So we're moving on to a creature that really should get its own episode. And we're going to go past that one. It's going to get its own episode. Then we have the Aneti tiger, the Aneti mountain tiger, or Tigris montigris?
Yeah, sorry.
French for tiger of the mountains, or mountain tiger. Supposedly, it is a living saber-toothed cat, reported from the Aneti Plateau, Tepes Mountains, and Gara Mastiff in Chad. The Bongo Mastiff in the Central African Republic, and possibly the Amago Mountains in South Sudan and Uganda. So basically like a living saber-toothed cat in Africa. I don't think there were any truly modern saber-toothed cats in Africa, but that doesn't stop convergent evolution. So description, larger than lion with reddish fur and vertically white stripes. They're all said to have long teeth that protrude beyond their lips, either very short tails or no tails at all. Two are said to have very powerful eye shine. One is said to have a mane. One peoples, the Yulu peoples, describe a melanistic variant. That just makes it a little bit more believable, in my opinion. Allegedly, they're strong enough to carry heavy prey. One particularly alleged to carry its prey hoisted on its back. However, folklore says that it's a harmless animal that can only take small prey, as the great size of its teeth cause pain when it opens its mouth. And then there's one that's just straight up mythical and says it's followed by a cloud of butterflies. It is, I'm gonna say this, if this is a real animal, and it's convergently evolved saber teeth aren't gonna be that brittle, because they weren't in the first place. I know everyone says, well, saber-tooth didn't have that big of a bite because the teeth got in the way and they were too brittle. No. The way they were brittle is if you hit it from the side. Going straight down, that pressure into one singular point, it's horrible. They had really strong bites for what people think. But yes, they did break their teeth occasionally. And they still made it. There's some that lived with holes in their skulls. So yeah, a broken tooth ain't really much if they have another one, and then if they don't, they have teeth of their own and then claws. They're not completely defanged. Sightings, there were French naturalists who say one was haunting the district, carrying prey off into caves and mountains. Later in the 1960s, so that was in the 1937, 1960s, 1969, 1940. Oh. And then the 1941, it carried a horse antelope up a tree. Carried off a horse antelope. One was a big game hunter whose tracker was frightened by a bellow, claimed it was a mountain tiger emitting from a deep cavern. In 1960, they had seen it several different times. Explanations. It could be a prehistoric big cat, or again, as I said before, it could be a animal that filled the role of almost a bear. It could be a big cat that filled the role of a bear. To convergent evolution with big cats. Because if you think it's hauling off, oh, that's kind of fire, but if you think about it, it's hauling off prey. And there's some in deserts, there's some in sub-Saharan Africa. It's a wide range for the same cryptid.
Yeah.
And unlike Bigfoot, but like again, I'm gonna be real, this one sounds a lot more believable than I think. Especially coming from multiple different people with the same description. Some say melanistic variant exists. Some have powerful eyeshine, some have mange, so then you have genetic sexual dimorphism. It just sounds a lot more believable, in my opinion. And plus, Africa, gorillas weren't even thought to exist until like the 40s. I think, maybe 30s. No. That's why we're not doing another cryptid. So, passing the United tiger. We have a little bit more mythical, a little bit more culture-based. We have the were hyena. It was East Africa and Near East. Unlike the werewolf, it's portrayed as being originally human. Basically skinwalker. Yeah, no, that's basically what you need to know. It's a skinwalker that can turn into a human thing. It's weird. So, passing over that. I think I just deleted. Okay, we just got the baboon. Hold on, I need to find one that I was gonna go over real fast because it's a baboon, but massive. So then there was a water lion, which is basically what people thought saber-toothed cats became, like walruses, jungle walruses. Or they become lions that approach from the water, which is really weird.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And we're talking about cryptids, great. Then we have Gambo, which is a funny story that involves like a country's leader's brother, and a ton of other things. We don't know what it was. It's like an ichthyosaur thing, and two dudes with like axes and shovels came down to the beach after this dude was studying it, chopped off its head, and took it. It's weird, and the rest of the remains were buried under the site where a club owned by the leader of a country's brother was. It's weird. We'll do something on it. Yeah, we'll actually make an episode on that one. That one's kind of funny. So, we're going to another more obscure one. The Kodikiloa, which has been lumped together with another thing we're going over later. This is a giant baboon that was reportedly 4'9" on all fours. 4'9".
Taller than most men. Some men. I should say.
It's taller than some humans.
Yeah.
And then standing on its hind legs, you gotta think about that. I just don't want to be around that.
No, baboons regularly are just terrible. I don't want one that's
4'9".
yes on his hind, not his hind legs.
On all fours.
On all fours.
Okay, we're gonna do some skip around here soon. Oh, next we have the flashlight frog.
Okay, who gave the frog a glow stick?
So, the flashlight frog is supposed to be is like a frog with a nose that's bioluminescent. And they also said that their tongue is yellow and is covered in deadly saliva.
I think someone might have been tripping when they saw this on this thing.
So bioluminescence does occur in some frogs and lizards in Africa. Well, in South America. There's the green-boned glass frog, and it glows, which is freaky. So it's not unheard of, and this could exist, but it also does seem like an acid trip. But it would be funny to see a bunch of frogs leaping around that have glowing noses.
Rudolph the frog?
Rudolph the green-nosed frog. A red nose, because it does have a one with a red nose here. Hold on, we're skipping this one, because that one's, we're going to end off on it. We're skipping that one. We're going to the Milu, which is an aquatic-based dinosaur, an animal with plants growing out of its back, suggested to be a close relative of Stegosaurus. So it's weird because it's like, yeah, we're not doing this one right now. So now we have the Billy Ape, if y'all know. It's supposed to be like this giant chimpanzee that hunts lions, and it's a mix between gorillas and chimpanzees, or a new species altogether. Okay, I can confirm it is not any of those. It is a cultural cryptid. Yes, there may be some physical differences, but that's it. Between just chimpanzees and them. Now, I'm going to say this. It is very bad. The person who claimed it was a new species or chimp-gorilla hybrid, only one person. Yeah, something really bad befell her. I think she's still around. I don't know, but she got shot in a parking lot by a hit and run, I think. So yeah, but anyway, there are more cultural cryptids because of how they act. They act very different than normal chimpanzees. I think more aggressive. So the lion killer thing that the native people say could be true, that they do kill lions occasionally, but we don't know. There are two distinct groups: the tree beaters, who will easily come. The tree beaters are basically normal chimpanzees. They disperse high into the trees to stay safe, who easily succumb to poison arrows used by local hunters. Then there are the lion killers, who seldom climb trees, bigger, darker, and who are unaffected by the poison arrows. That sounds terrifying. They build ground nests. These apes behave more like gorillas and chimps because they build ground nests. They howl at the moon. They do not howl at the moon. They pant and hoot and tree drum like other chimpanzees. Behavior towards humans. There's little to no aggression, yet there's no fear either. Male gorillas will often charge a hunter, will always charge when they encounter a hunter, but there's no stories like that about the belly apes, according to someone else who faced them. When they come face, instead they would come face to face with their human cousins, they stare intently in half recognition, then slide away quickly. Hicks group later confirmed and somewhat expanded those observations when they encountered a large group of belly apes deep in the forest. They not only approached the humans, they would actually surround them with intense curiosity. Clarifies the issue as follows: apes within 20 kilometers of the road or so flee from humans almost without exception. Adult males show the greatest fear. Further from the roads, however, the chimpanzees become progressively naive. So again, it is just a cultural cryptid of a species. It's just interesting to see that it's basically the birth of a new species. Now, onto the one I said we would say later, the Nandi bear. Basically, it gets lumped in as a baboon, a bear, just whatever. A calicotheer, a short-faced hyena. So its misidentification has ranged from hyenas to giant baboons to living short-faced hyenas, or even to calicotheres, living calicotheres. However, its identity, no sightings of the Nandi bear have been reported since the 1990s, and much of the alleged range has been deforested and transformed into farmlands and towns since. Though most recent sightings emit from regions who still have some forest. Description: very high forward, around 4'3" to 4'6" at the shoulder, nearly 5 feet high, about the size of a lion. Basically, very large, powerful jaws and teeth, and a stubby bear-like snout. Ears very small, very short, small and rounded. Tail is usually reported being short, tufted, or hairy, whilst the feet are said to be large, forequarters. which were covered in thick fur, as were all four legs, but in hindquarters, it's smooth and bare comparatively. Very shaggy right down to the feet. Color of the fur is supposedly tawny or gingery brown or dark brown. I'm just gonna go from the. So the sightings started in 1905. There was one in 1912, 1913. I don't know why I said 1912. 1914, 1950, 1936. It killed somebody in 1914. Killed a 6-year-old girl. In 1936, someone had been claimed to attacked by an 8-foot-tall animal, like a great polar bear, which broke into his hut. In 1957 or 1958, supposedly shot 2 large 3/6 hyena-like animals with sloping backs, heavy manes, short broad heads, and small ears. In 1962, in the 60s, claimed to have been sighting. Some claimed to have chased around the hut, ran bipedally, and last known sighting occurred in 1998, where it was running alongside the road. So in another one, it carried off some dude's dog. So explanations. It could be a hyena, it could be just something, or an outsized black honey badger, but that's not, I don't see that. A large species of honey badger, a bear. It just could be so many things that it's weird. It could be a baboon, it could be a calicotheer, but I don't see a calicotheer surviving that long. They died off relatively fast comparatively. But yeah, that was basically it for this episode. Yeah, thank you for joining in. I know we didn't talk a lot, but
Yeah.
it's different. We're just learning right now. Yeah, anyway, thank you for tuning in. We're gonna wrap this up right now.